Hello. This is a running character and the camera follows the character. I did a tutorial about how to animate the camera to follow the person here. Here's the camera, by the way. Let's change the background like this. And you see the camera just follows him while he starts to run and while he's running. The link to this tutorial is down there in the description. This is the view through the camera, and you can do this with any object really. I just want to demonstrate you something with xGen here. Let's select the skin. The skin is totally dependent on the joints working inside of the skin, but we can of course do things with the skin, like go to modeling and generate and open the xGen editor. It won't do anything right now. It will just pop up here. You also have it here on the side. So here's the attribute editor and here's xGen. We create a new description with this object selected, and we go to spheres used for pebbles, marbles or other round objects. Create. Basically, when we run the simulation now, or animation, the motion capture data, it slows down, of course, because Maya has to think about the simulation of the pebbles, so to say. There's one pebble at the left foot, below the left foot. We could have, of course, changed this. Now here in the, so to say, attribute editor of the xGen description, you can change the lots of parameters, of course, and load them with expressions here. Load expression, samples, geometry, flatten room, etc. You can do this, but you can only very simply change the length from 1 to 0.1, and the width the same, 0.1, and the depth the same, 0.1. So we have very little spheres now, and in order to get more of them distributed over that surface, you can raise the density, like here. Let's create a spotlight now. I middle mouse drag this into this area now, so I can position the spotlight now, and the spotlight should have a look at this character here, like this. Here is the attribute editor with the spotlight attributes. I create a penumbra angle, which makes a soft drop off of the illumination. Usually the spotlight is too weak for the whole scene, so I raise the exposure quite a bit. Now I need a plane to place the whole thing on, so that's very simple. Okay, so he's on that plane now. Now I can render it with Arnold. And I don't see a thing, and that's because the spotlight is not strong enough yet. So let's pump up the exposure from 2 to 20. Now he's here. So 20 is a little bit too much, maybe 12. Yeah. And now you see that creature here with in the middle of the spotlight, and I think this is quite a nice effect when you move one frame further. You see the pebbles stick to the object. Now you can hide the skin. That's the skin, H. So it basically doesn't show much difference, except for now you have the holes here, because the character skin is not there anymore. But with this density, you can easily pretend that this is a character here. Finally, I want to show you where the shader is, so you can change the pebbles from that gray shading to some other type of shading. The xGen stuff is green. Open this section, and here you have a description. It's in my case description 8, depends on what you did before. And now in the attribute editor, not in the xGen, but in the attribute editor, you find the initial shading group. So it's shaded with a Lambert currently. Let's override this with an Arnold surface shader. So open the Arnold section and click on the checkerboard icon and go to Arnold and standard surface shader. And now it's a standard surface shader. It doesn't show up here in the viewport. I don't know why it doesn't, but in the rendering it should. So it's a white shader currently. And now let's go to the presets just to show you something completely different, and go to the, say, blood, or actually clay is always nice. So you have that clay color. It's a standard shader now for the ground and the creature. So the ground turns gets the clay shader as well. But we can change this by clicking on it and create a new material, assign a new material, assign another material here, standard surface shader. And now we have that white shader, which we can, of course, turn into a nice blue. And you can make it even more dramatic if you change the spotlight here. So let's select the spotlight. Look at this, what happens when I move the spotlight like this. And now he's at the edge of that rim, and I can make the spotlight cone angle smaller, like this, so it's even more dramatic. And if I go lower with the light, the shadows of course get longer. So that's only one light in the scene. And I think now it's render time. Bye.